Hey kiddies, it's Titanium Tigers here with a game called Ambre, but it's about this little girl, and supposedly it's gonna have some weird elements to it, but it's supposed to be a good game overall. So we're gonna start out, and we're gonna see how it goes. Definitely English. All right. It was 7 p.m. on a beautiful yet cold autumn day. The wind shook at the frail tree branches across the street. Tristan Mallory made his slow, tired way. A whirlwind of leaves caught his attention. He stopped to contemplate them for a few minutes. A spray of colors danced around him. Fragments of red, oranges, yellows spread at random, forming a mosaic that stretched on as far as the eye could see, endlessly. It was rare. It was a rare beauty in that gray, fuming city, in that noisy metropolis, constantly exhaling bad air. Coming back to his senses, the 30-year-old man shook his head. Now wasn't the time to be daydreaming. He had to go home. The long day weighed on his shoulders. But if he was honest with himself, work wasn't the most tiring thing in life. Since honest, well-paid work was something of a luxury these days, like any model employee, he consciously accomplished every task handed to him, and did no more or less than was asked. No, what was destroying him was a completely different form of fatigue, an appalling and crushing solitude that had been shadowing him for years, ever since his wife. Okay. Maybe his wife died or left him. The light tinkle of the front door opening brought him back to earth. He was already at his flat. A sad, mute living room sat waiting for him in morbid silence. Goosebumps traveled down his spine as he entered the room. Driven by desperation, he didn't even take the time to hang his coat correctly, but began slamming all the doors one after the other. Ooh. Each time the same emptiness answered his pleas. He felt a rising dread within. His last hope was the last door, the forbidden room beyond. He opened it slightly and peeked inside. Of course, there was no one. He fell heavily onto the sofa. The crushing solitude came back in full force, crushing him again and again, wounding his face with invisible cuts. The cuts of time. It was happening again. All of a sudden, Tristan Mallory felt exhausted. He held his head in his hands and stared at the floor for long minutes. Then, after what felt like an eternity, he got to his feet. He moved together all the framed pictures that had been on the furniture and stowed them away in a closet. They needed to be out of sight. When he was sure that there was no more pictures to put away, Tristan put his coat back on and went outside. It was cool, a bit dark, but there was something enough light to but there still was enough light to see by. I'm sorry. It was the ideal time to take a walk. At least that's what he would have thought. As he hurried along the sidewalk, the 30-year-old man was anything but relaxed. Nervously, he walked around her most familiar places, looking for a serenity that seemed to be out of reach. While passing a park near his home, he heard a high-pitched, almost inaudible plea. His heart jumped and he stopped. While passing a park near his home, he heard a high-pitched... Oh, sorry. In the dim light of the setting sun, he made out a silhouette of a little girl, sitting on a swing with her head bowed. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Afraid of startling her, he made his way toward her slowly and looked at her. Her clothes were crumpled. She had neither coat nor scarf, and there were scratches on her hands and arms, as if she had been in a fight. The park was completely deserted, and she seemed to have been there for a while. For a second, Tristan Mallory felt the urge to leave her there to whatever fate lay in store for her. But then he mentally chastised himself. He couldn't do that to a child. So he knelt in front of her and asked in a soft voice, Is something wrong? At first, the little girl seemed not to hear him. She choked on her sobs, hiccuped, and shuddered. Slowly, Tristan Mallory stroked her hair and repeated, "Why are you crying? What happened?" It took long minutes for her to calm down enough to speak, but eventually, with a faint voice, interrupted by sobs, she wiped her tears and answered him. "I don't know. I think I've lost something important. Really important. But I can't remember what it was." Tristan Mallory sighed, feeling a mixture of compassion and pity. She seemed so lost and so vulnerable. He wanted to hold her so tightly, that so her sadness melted away. At the same time, within, a voice was telling him that he shouldn't be too forceful. He shouldn't take advantage of her weakness. So he tried not to lose face, to look reassuring. Yet, in front of this sad little girl, he did not feel self-confident at all. "Are you alone? Where are her mommy and daddy?" "I don't know." "Do you live far away from here?" "I don't know." "What's your name?" "Ambre." "Well, Ambre, you can stay out here in the wind, or you're going to catch a cold. And you don't want to get sick, do you?" "No, I hate being sick." "See, you've got to warm yourself up somewhere. Night's getting close." "But I don't know where to go." "In that case, what do you think about going over to my place? It's not far away from here, and it'll be much better sleeping place than this swing." Umbre seemed wary at first, but she had no other choice but to follow him. He gently reached a hand to her. For the first time, she lifted her eyes. They were washed out, blurry with tears, and hesitant. He thought it was a good idea to show her a smiling face, to appear to be a reassured adult. Even with the fatigue, he caught her fine frail hand and helped her get to her feet. The young girl's steps were wobbly and weak. She had probably not eaten all day long. He held her hand, making sure she wouldn't trip. The 3-year-old man removed his coat and shut all the doors behind him. "Make yourself at home. I'll cook you something." Passing through the kitchen, he turned on the light in the living room so his flat would look less gloomy. While roaming through his fridge looking for a good meal idea, he stole several glances over the counter. In the living room, Ambre was still walking around, a bit wild, still on the defense. She explored the new environment by looking around, admiring the ornaments. She didn't find much to pique her interest. It was a bland house, almost too bland. There were no clues about the occupants' lives. Taking advantage of Tristan's being distracted by a packet of noodles, she escaped the hallway and tried to find the bathroom. She found it quickly enough before returning to the hallway. Then she noticed that all the doors were wide open except for one. She was drawn to that doorway, even before she had time to think. Intrigued, Ombre felt magnetically attracted by the slightly open door. Just one peek was all she wanted, and she couldn't see anything through the crack. Was this Bluebeard's cabinet, a frightening tomb where Tristan Mallory stored the corpses of his former wives? The little girl pushed the door open, entered the room, switched on the light. Oh, it was a bedroom with soft cushions filled with plushes. The big bed, proudly thrown in the center of the room, was accompanied by a pretty dressing table to one side. The walls were painted to look like a big, bright blue sky. Storage furniture coordinated with the sweet colors of the trinkets and were overflowing with mysteries. On the nightstand, she could catch a glimpse of the nightlight shaped as a cute mascot. There was a fairy-like ambience about the strange room, so that Ambre couldn't repress a little exclamation of her surprise. Closing the doors of the 30-year-old wouldn't discover her hiding spot. She stretched out in the comfortable bed, rolled into a ball, and jumped about and snuck under the bed sheets. For an inexplicable reason, she felt at ease in this room, worthy of a princess. It seemed to have been built for her, to correspond to her every fantasy. Then she noticed a big teddy bear, which seemed to stare at her. Immediately she grabbed it and hugged it and covered it with kisses. Her pale face was illuminated by a wide, pure, innocent smile. A child's smile. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Tristan Mallory finished cooking the noodles. He was about to serve the meal when he noticed the absence of the little girl. Slightly worried, he called for her. Ambre? Ambre, where are you? Nervous, he looked after her in all the rooms, checking to see if she was in the bathroom. He searched everywhere in the house until there were only one left. The entry door makes some noises when it's open. I would have heard it if she had left. Can she be in there already? With a contrite sigh, he headed down towards the forbidden room and found Aubrey playing with stuffed animals. She's adorable. That's adorable. Alright, we're gonna stop this right here because it's getting interesting, but we're going to have to split it up. So this has been Ambre. A strange but appeasing game so far. And this is Jim Tiger signing out. I'll see you in the next video. Right there. Alright. Well, I saved it, so there shouldn't be any unsaved. Alright.